Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island Cast USA. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you again. Last one of the week this week.
Yeah, it is, Dave, and again, it's been a good episode. Solid week for the USA, probably the best one we've seen so far, just as the show's finishing, sadly. So, what caught your eye on today's episode, Dave?
Yeah, so I think it'd be good if we started off where we picked up yesterday. So we had the vote off and we had the final two couples there. And I must admit, I thought old Weston and Emily had it. But unfortunately, it was Yamen and Aissata. So, yeah, really quite surprised there. And it looked like all the villa was really quite emotional to see, particularly Yamen. You know, he's been there from the start, but they were obviously disappointed to see him go.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, to be honest, Dave, because I thought Yamen and Aissata were quite a nice couple. I thought, especially with the game we'd had the day before with Weston and all the abuse he seemed to get from the American public, and everybody was onto him about being a snake, weren't they, and untrustworthy. Not necessarily Emily, but it was a couple's sort of game. And I thought, he's gone. He's gone. And when he stayed, I was really shocked, Dave, really shocked. And yeah, I think... Yeah, Yaman was a bit of a player, but he did calm down towards the end, and we didn't see a lot of him on the TV, did we, really? It was all about Weston and Kira this last week, really. So, yeah, they've gone. I think we're probably going to see a couple more. My money probably would be on Kira and Jared, I think, next, maybe, because they're not really a couple, are they? So it'd be scandalous if they win it and they're not even together, and we've only got a couple of episodes left.
I must admit, I mean, I was surprised that they weren't even in the bottom two. I can't think. I can't understand why they got through okay. I guess, you know, Kira probably got quite a few votes there. I guess Weston, again, he's been there since day one. So people tend to be a little more biased, don't they? The longer we've known these people, we seem to give them a bit more of a break, I think. So, yeah, a little bit surprised there, but I mean, there's really nothing between Kira and Weston, Kira and Jared there. So, and you know, we didn't know him before. I think I know him enough now from what I've seen him on the screen. He's just a bit of a boring drip, to be honest.
Yeah, he doesn't offer much, does he? He's a good-looking lad, but that's about it. There's nothing. There's nothing between them. I can't see. What I find really bizarre, Dave, is I think, all right, they're going to the vote. But surely they should just have a cull, shouldn't they, and just go, well, you two aren't even paired up, so you need to leave because you're not really a couple. You recouple, but you're not in love. So I think you should just leave and do what's best for the show because it's just going to be weird, the final. If Kira gets, and she's obviously got supporters, I don't think she's done herself any favours. She seems to flip-flop with her emotions completely. So, and this revelation about Cash, which I found unbelievable. I mean, she was calling Weston out. Weston deserved to get a good fucking in the episode the other day. And she's doing it again. She's playing, isn't she? She's playing. Is she doing? But is this a play to get the sort of public perception of, oh, hang on a minute, there's something, let's keep her in. Let's see if there's a big reunion because it could be a play, Dave. I know Cash isn't in there, but I'm not buying it, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it seemed to, it's just, I said yesterday, you know, I've got no time for Weston at all, but Kira, I don't warm to either. I just don't know what she's playing at all. And it seems like, you know, she's a bit angry with Weston now. They had these kind of clear the air talks, but I was watching it and I couldn't really understand if the air was cleared or not. They both seemed to just say how upset they were. And that they were sorry that they made them feel upset. But I don't think either really gave any ground.
No, I don't. No.
They both stayed where they were, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It very much reminded me of that gif, Dave, of the two Spider-Men pointing at each other. It was so like, he's got no grounds to have a go at him, and he certainly has no grounds to have a go at her. But then we had all this drama on yesterday's episode, and there's Emily mounting Weston. You know, it was like, he's a fucking weasel. Let's be honest. He's a weasel, Dave. He's come across, and I didn't really pick up on it yesterday. He was only listening back to our episode, but what I should have said was when he said in that game, I've never cheated on anyone. Fucking kiss my bollocks, you haven't, my mate. Don't you fucking give us that shit. He has definitely played the game.
He said that in his younger days he was a player. And again, it's just one of these lines that I just don't buy. Oh, yeah, when I was younger, I mean, what is he? Is he like 36 now? No, he's fucking not, is he? He's like mid-20s or something. So if you're not a player, if you haven't cheated on anyone, why would you describe yourself as being a player in your younger days? It's just more bullshit that just comes out of his mouth. So, yeah, he's just full of shit.
He is full of shit. You're right, Dave. It's an easy word to. I was a player. What, you had 2 girls on the go at once, did you? Wow, what a player! I mean, were you going to parties and you had a string of girls off your shoulder? No, you weren't, son. You were going to rodeos, riding bulls, or whatever you do. You know what I mean? It's just like, fuck off. He's gone him completely. I've had enough of it. I just think I've gone from really liking him to just thinking he's a weasel. Kira, she can go, and I've not really got a favourite couple. Really, I'm not a fan of Caro. Ray's a nice bloke. I think, if anything, probably Dylan and Alexandra. And I did think Mr. Voiceover Man was on point, actually, today, Dave, where he said, you know, Alexandra and Dylan are really upset about them. And they're like high-fiving each other. Well, that's another one gone. And I was like, you know what? As much as you might say, is it a game? I thought, you know what? Fair enough, because they're being completely honest. They're just staying in it for as long as they can. And I think they could possibly win it, Dave.
I think they could do. I still think Zach and Emily, you know, if you're looking for a romantic couple, I think those two would be the favourites in my eyes. I think Zach in the baby game showed himself up a bit there. He's not particularly paternal, but everything else about them, I think they look, you know, as loved up as anyone in there. I was intrigued, I can't think of a better word to use than that, by the baby game, because all the girls just seem to fuck off. I mean, Alexandra in particular, Dylan's just left holding the baby. She's just off walking around the villa with a coffee. And I was like, hang about, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was bizarre, but let's be honest, I called it out on the UK one. You did. It's one of the most infuriating fucking shit games they play on Love Island. It is. I just don't see any logic in what they're doing. I know they're trying to give them a bit of a sense of responsibility, but it's just like, it's crap TV. Not because the babies are crying and that. It's just like, it doesn't offer, for me personally, it doesn't offer me anything of any part of entertainment. I just think, yeah, there's a couple of funny bits, and we'd seen it in the UK when there's a few bits where the way they handle the baby and stuff. But as a spectacle watching, I'm just like, no, I've seen and done it now. And they have, unfortunately, this is straight out of the UK playbook, and the Australian one, obviously they ripped off the UK because the UK one came first, but it's just out of that playbook. And I'm like, no, we've seen this. I mean, are the families going to come in, Dave, in the next episode? Because I think we may have 2 episodes left. And the families usually come in on the UK one. They certainly did last week, didn't they, the night before? So are we going to see a bit of a reunion? I'm not sure. If they do, it's followed it beat for beat as the way the UK one plays out.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite with you on the baby game. I guess I haven't seen it as many times as you have. What I like about it is the crying seems to be relentless. And, you know, we've both got children, haven't we? And you know that actually when you have babies and whatever, and they are crying relentlessly, and there's not too many things, you know, they either need changing, they need feeding, they need burping, but sometimes they just don't stop crying. You've tried all of those things, and I think, you know, I can empathize with them a bit, and it is pretty relentless. And so I can, you know, it does introduce a little bit of stress. Again, I said the same with the UK show. You know, try and do it for like, you know, 3 to 6 months. You know, and that's when it really gets stressful in the real world. But you know, you can hand back this bit of plastic. But I can see, you know, or you could see, certainly with Zach and Elizabeth, you know, they were looking pretty stressed and pretty frazzled there. And like I say, the only one who wasn't looking pretty stressed was Alexandra. That's because she wasn't really taking part in it. So, no, I don't mind the old baby challenge. I think it's good, like I say, to just give these 20-somethings a little bit to think about. And again, I have to call out the narrator here, gave me one of my favourite lines of the show so far. And I can't remember who it is. Someone said, what, do we pull it out? And he said, not pulling out is what got you here in the first place. So, he has got himself a little highlights reel. I still don't think he's, he doesn't get every line, he's not a cracker like the UK one. I think Ian Sterling is probably up at 80% hit ratio. But no, this he's got a few decent lines in this series.
He has as well. And as a quick reference point, Dave, for the UK Love Island, there's something that we've alluded to on this. If you've only actually listened to us doing the USA one, if you're a USA listener and viewer of the programme, I always bang on about like the deals that they get and stuff in the UK, don't they? Like the fighting for that more exposure on the show usually leads to something on TV. And one of the contestants, Maura, has just landed a big job on This Morning, Dave, which in the UK, if you're not from the UK, is a big breakfast, sort of mid-morning breakfast stroke dinner time show. It's in between breakfast and lunch. So she's on there now. She's going to have a segment on it weekly. So that's good news for her. How long that lasts, I don't know, but she's going to be going around the UK doing challenges. So she's got exactly what she wanted. And I think probably she's got a talent agency with her. So I'm not sure whether we'll see that with the USA one. I mean, I do watch a lot of American TV online and that, but I'm not sure whether that would happen from this. It might not in the first series. It didn't in the UK. It seems to be the second and third series where a lot of the people in it became sort of celebrities on their own right, really.
Yeah, and I think the thing I like about this US show is the contestants do seem a little bit more genuine. I think, for that second series, I think they have to throw in a few more googlies. They have to mix up, stir that pot a little bit. Because if you look at a lot of the couples, most of them are still, the original couples, from that first week. And so there's not really that much that's been shaken up. So I think next season, in order to, increase that drama, I think they need to sort of tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's the learning curve. I said to you, it has got stronger, Dave, as the series has gone on, even to the point where, obviously, Sam, my wife, has watched the whole of the UK one. She's watched about half a dozen of the USA one. And she even said to me at one point, like, she'd listened to our show and she said, it doesn't sound very good. I think I'll leave it and see if it gets any better. Binge watch it. And now she's adamant she wants to watch it because I've been telling her, like, it has got a lot better. It's very much like the original UK series, this, to be honest, Dave. But again, it's been good. It's been good. And I do agree. I think what they'll find themselves is, as they do this, you've got to have, as you've just said, you've got to have that absolutely extravagant couple or someone who just doesn't give a shit. All right, we've had the Western thing where he's gone round playing the sort of puppy dog eyes and, I wouldn't do that to you. But yet he's playing all the girls off against each other. He's telling different people he likes them. In other series that we've watched, there's been guys and girls gone in there and they've not just sort of had chats with people. They've put it on people, haven't they, where they've just decimated couples. And that's what makes great viewing, to be honest.
Yeah. Not very good for the people, but great for entertainment, I bet.
Well, Dave, that's what you sign up for. And as a avid Love Island fan, I'm sorry, but that's exactly what I want. If someone is not double-crossing somebody behind some corner or in the fire pit, it's not Love Island, Dave.
Very good. Well, like I say, I'm sure they'll listen to some of that feedback. I think it has been getting more and more popular. Like you said yesterday, you can see just from the tweets, they are getting quite a lot of interaction now. So I can see the second season just going from strength to strength. So I'm sure they'll be ramping up the drama.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. Now, one thing I wanted to throw out to everybody, as always, our normal social media channels. If you want to contact her on Twitter, at Love Island Cast. If you want to email us, theloveislandcast@gmail.com. And obviously we do, and we have reviewed the UK and we're reviewing the US one. And I am really chomping at the bit for when the Australian one comes on. But is there any other Love Islands around the world? Any listeners who tune in? Is there anyone that myself and Dave are missing? Davey's going to hate me at this point for dropping this in there, but
you're thinking like, is there an Azerbaijan Love Island or something like that?
It could be, Dave. There could be something we're missing that's heating up around the world. So if there is a show like Love Island or a Love Island that we're not aware of, please contact us because I'd be interested to get involved in that and just see well, what if me and Dave can still be friends after doing numerous millions of episodes just reviewing violin? But yeah, if you could get in contact with us, I'd really appreciate it, guys. Now, Dave, it's at that point of the show, and I know you're not prepared, but what have you got to lead us out with today, my friend?
Well, I've actually got an email that we forgot to read out yesterday.
Good work.
So this one is from Mona, and it says, "Hi, Chris and Dave. I've started listening to your podcast midway through the UK version, and I've been listening ever since. I enjoy your podcast, even though my views are sometimes quite different from yours, and I don't agree with everything you say, especially with the girls, Yewande and Amber. In the beginning, Anna as well, but towards the end, even I agreed her behaviour was immature. I haven't caught up with the US version yet. I'm currently on episode 9 of the show and 4 of the podcast. What I've noticed, and it was similar in the last year's Australian version, is that American producers seem to cast differently. It feels they've focused more on looks, and the islanders that they picked are just really boring. That's nothing that gets me as invested into the show as the British version does. Most of the times I catch myself doing something else while watching, because it's just so lame. No interesting conversations, dates, or relationships at all. They all have a very similar look too. They have the exact same body type. The guys are all relatively muscular and the girls are all stick thin. They are all so American. They're all boy and girl next door types. At least in the UK version, the people are all different looks and body types and are generally just more, commas in quotes here, normal and diverse. I'm going to try and watch until the end, but to be honest, I'm not really invested at all. Are you going to follow the Australian version as well? And that's greetings from Germany." So thanks very much, Mona. Brilliant. Lot of great points there. Not the first person to call us out on Yewande and Amber as well. But again, what do you think of that, Chris?
Great email again, Dave. And what I love when people send in emails like this, it's the sort of watching it from a slightly different perspective. But we all have our nuances with people, don't we? But that some people annoy us, some don't. And I think it's great. I think it's great, even when we get called out as well, Dave. I like the fact that someone's actually enjoying what we're doing, or they're not happy, but they want to speak to us about it. And that's exactly what we wanted, didn't we? We wanted this interaction. And thank you again for such a great email. It is. We absolutely puts a smile on mine and Dave's face when we receive emails off anybody who's listening, and the reviews as well. So, no, great stuff again.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And what I've actually really done there, Chris,
I know what you've done.
Managed to do the old switcheroo and say, how are you going to finish it off today?
Dave, I knew you were going to do that straight away. And I'm unprepared. My fault. So,
as always.
Well, Dave, it's funny you should mention the fact that you've done the old switcheroo, because I'm not really prepared. But all I keep thinking about after this episode is Kira showing her undying love for Cashel. And I'm going to quote something at one of my favourite films of all time. And this one's from Lethal Weapon. Now, if I was Cashel and I was a shepherd, I'd get the flock out of here. So we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.